I'm Seaman Sadie. I'm an ET. I'm from Los Angeles, California. ETs have a really long A school, so it's really easy to get bored in Great Lakes and want to go party. So whenever I go out and party, I go out with a bunch of my guy friends, and you know, we have a good time. We take care of each other. We look after each other. And there's this one guy, really nice guy that I know from my boot camp division, and he's married. He's got this really cute daughter. Well, one night he got really drunk, and he asked me if I wanted to dance, and I said sure, you know, just thinking it was going to be like a friend thing. And I don't drink, so there wasn't an issue there. And we were dancing and having a good time, and it was fun. And then he started getting really close, and he reached down and grabbed my ass. And I took his hand off, and I said, you know, your wife wouldn't appreciate that. And he said, oh yeah, sure, you're right. And then he was fine for the rest of the night. The guys ended up getting really smashed, and so we went and we got a hotel. They're all my good friends. We've done this before, and they all straight up passed out as soon as we got there, like on the floor in the bed and everything, and I got the other bed. I was lying there, wide awake, and my married friend goes into the bathroom puking. I go in after him, you know, just to take care of him, to make sure he doesn't, like, you know, choke on his puke like Jimi Hendrix did, you know. I was like rubbing his back, and I got him a glass of water, and just making sure he was okay. And then he just sits up and kisses me. And it was not only really gross, but it was awkward and uncomfortable too. And I pushed him away, and then he just told me, he said, just hold me. Told him no, and then, you know, suddenly he was just lying on top of me. The more I moved, the more he was like hurting my wrist. I was wearing these like shorty pajama shorts, and he just pushed them to the side and started touching me, and I was telling him, please don't do this, you're drunk. It all happened really fast and in like slow motion at the same time. I was crying when he did it, and but he was also crying too, and I could barely breathe with the, you know, the weight of him on me and the hard bathroom floor. It hurt a lot, and when he finished, he started telling me about how much he missed his wife, and how I wouldn't understand. I got out from underneath him, and I went and I got my purse, and I left the lobby without saying anything to anyone. And I took a cab back to base, and I just cried the whole time. When the guys got back the next day, I told them what had happened, and they were all like, oh, but he's, you know, he's awesome, he's married, he's so nice, he's such a nice guy. So they didn't believe me at all, and then finally I confronted him about it, and he said that he didn't remember what had happened and that he didn't believe me. Well, it's funny, you know, because they like suddenly stopped talking to me, and they acted like they didn't know me, and I wasn't sure if I should say something or not, or who to say it to, or what. It took me 2 weeks to finally say something, and when I did, they said, why didn't you say something before? Why didn't you say something right away? And I said that I was scared and I didn't know how to. And so they thought that I was lying. It felt really terrible. I mean, that's when I started drinking, and I isolated myself from guys and from girls, everyone. That's when they started investigating. And someone had mentioned that they had seen me drinking, and that if I drank underage, then I was probably lying about being raped too. And it wasn't until 6 weeks later, when I found out that I was pregnant, I texted him when I found out, as soon as I found out. And 2 days later, I got this really long Facebook message from his wife, calling me a slut and a homewrecker and a bitch, and telling me that I was gonna get it and all this stuff. And I called my parents, and I talked to my mom, and my mom and I decided that it would be best if I terminate the pregnancy, which was a really, really tough decision to make. My dad was pissed. He wanted to kill the guy, and I told him that I didn't need any more aggression in my life and that I just needed my dad. Eventually we went to court, and he was dishonorably discharged with jail time. It still affects me today. I don't go out as much as I used to. My orders were put on hold because of the hearing, and I just now am finally able to take leave and go home. It was important for me to share this with CSADD because I want to get my story straight, and I want other people to know it and to be able to see the signs and, you know, say something. My friends should have stepped in when they saw him grabbing me in the club. They should have not drank so much. I mean, the should haves and could haves go on forever and ever. But ultimately, it's his fault. It's his fault, and you have to be careful out there, even with shipmates. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And I just hope that no one has to go through what I went through.
A message from the Coalition of Sailors Against Destructive Decisions.